please click on the red subscribe button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Then click on the bell icon for notifications.
In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 most dangerous armed robbers in Nigeria with their shocking untold stories. Every nation of the world has in one way or the other experienced criminal attacks from its citizens or non-citizens. Nigeria, a country located in West Africa, has also had its fair share of criminal attacks where the likes of hoodlums, armed robbers, kidnappers, and deadly criminals have instilled great fear in the minds of its citizens. In this video, we will talk about the 10 most dangerous and notorious criminals and armed robbers in the history of Nigeria and their shocking untold stories. Number 1. Chukwudi Evans. Evans, whose full name is Chukwudi Dumeme Onoamadike, was an infamous kidnapper and armed robber who came into the limelight after being arrested in 2017 by Police Special Anti-Robbery Squad headed by Abakari. Evans hails from Nnewi in Anambra State. He is also referred to as the billionaire kidnapper because the Nigerian police force believe he is one of the richest kidnap kingpins in the history of Nigeria. The Inspector General of Police Special Intelligence Response Team (IRT) of the Nigerian Police Force described Evans as a very smart, crafty and intelligent kidnapper who evaded arrest for 4 years despite being on the most wanted list in 3 states.
I don't normally know names. Okay. You understand me now? But anybody I see that I know anything about is, I can easily understand. Because sometimes something will happen, you will not know the name of the person. I have people that give me information. I don't know where I can find anybody. We make phone calls, then we'll gather together.
Where do you gather? Where do you meet?
We can meet along the road. Like along the road now, you ask somebody to wait for you. We can pick in with motor. I can make the call, or they can go and collect the money. It's when they bring the money, we have to share it, all of us. The highest money we collected is from First Tag, $1 million. From somebody even in First Tag. It's just because maybe they are wasting time. You understand? Because when you are wasting time, you have to wait for the money to be complete. They called me that the man, that police have bust here. That police have bust here. I said, why? What happened? How come? So, the other one was telling me, I said, it's a lie. If you people want to tell me what happened, you tell me what happened. I was accusing Uche. I was threatening him so I can be able to find out what happened. He was talking to me. I said, I must. Not that you are telling me that you are sorry, someone escaped from here. You have to tell me, let me know how it happens. Do you understand? So that is how it goes.
So are you convinced now that to know how it happens? Are you convinced now?
I'm not convinced.
You're not convinced?
Yes.
You still believe Uche sold you out?
Uche or Adebayo?
Sold you out?
Yes.
You are not convinced that the man escaped from here?
Yes.
Why are you not convinced?
Why I'm not convinced is that Oga show me something. Oga show how the man, I'm a little bit, it can happen that way, but that man himself don't have that mind. The man himself, I'm talking about, doesn't have that. He can't stand up from there.
We never suspected anything. We know one or two of the guys who stayed here. We used to see them around. They greet me. I greet them. I don't know, but I never suspected anything.
You never heard like the midnight dropping up of people?
No, nothing. No shouting, no hassles, nothing. Because I thought there were only two people living in this place. One young man who very fair complexion, and another one who looks like an autistic person. You know, he usually goes to buy petrol. Just those two people, and a lady that comes in once in a while. I think that's the guy that feeds them.
I started in Anambra. Then from Anambra I moved to Edo. Then I come to Lagos. I have people that give me information. Each time I want to go for operation, I will connect on phone. I will call them on phone. Like, let's meet so and so place. Before we start going for the operation. We'll kidnap. The highest money we collected is from First Tag, $1 million. From somebody even in First Tag.
The arrest of Evans and his gang member is the beginning to the end of kidnapping, another violent crime in this country.
Number 2, Gracious West. Gracious David West, known as the Port Harcourt serial killer, reportedly had a tough childhood. He claimed that his mother was poisoned and that as the only son of his father, much was expected of him, but he could not deliver, so he ventured into crime. He was a member of the HAM, a fraternity group that is notorious in Nigeria for engaging in acts of violence and mayhem. His modus operandi was always the same. Every night, he scouted for girls at local clubs around the city of Port Harcourt. He lured them to local hotels in the suburb of the city, sleep with them, and suffocate them to death. His victims were always found with pieces of white clothes tied around their legs. Gracious, before his arrest on 19 September 2019, while trying to flee from the city of Port Harcourt, confessed to having killed at least 15 women in 3 months.
After that, we were inside the club. After that, she discussed of how much I would pay her. So after that, we left the club to the hotel.
What is the name of the hotel? Can you remember the name of the hotel?
Back the hotel. It's at Rumokoro, that's Sasoro.
Okay, Sasoro. Rumokoro?
No, Rupoko.
Rupoko, okay. Yes, so what happened when you go
So
there?
after that, we went to the hotel.
Yes.
I paid for the place. So they took her to home. So after they took her, I said, okay, let me look for it to arrange for food. I should eat myself. So they prepared food and we ate. So after that, we slept till when the day broke by around that 5:30. Yes, 5:30 to let's say 4 or 5:30. So I brought out a knife. She didn't actually know that there was a knife there. So I brought out a knife. That person and I let her don't shout. Then she shouted and we used the knife on her. So without fear, she wouldn't shout. And by then the television, the volume was
loud.
Yes, loud. So she kept quiet, and after that, I used the wrapper to tie her head on the back, then tie her legs.
Which wrapper?
Pillowcase.
Okay, pillowcase.
Yes.
Number 3, Kayode Williams. Kayode Williams was a deadly armed robber who allegedly murdered people without thinking twice. While he confessed about his crime, Kayode Williams explained how he pounded babies and made use of them for spiritual fortification. Kayode Williams was converted to Christianity while he was in jail for over 10 years. That is to say, after committing several crimes to humanity, he was convicted for life imprisonment, but after spending 10 years in prison, he became a converted Christian and a born again. Number 4. Monday Osumbo. Monday Osumbo is a notorious criminal and a very good accomplice of Lawrence Anine's gang. In the gang, he was the one who performed the function of executing people. He had a short temper and wasted no time in killing people. Monday Osumbo was killed alongside Lawrence Anine in 1987. He was described by the media as the most dangerous criminal in the history of mankind. Number 5. Abiodun Egunjobi. Abiodun Egunjobi is also known as Godo. He was a deadly criminal who terrorized Lagos, a southwestern region of Nigeria. He was also known as the one-eyed assassin who killed without mercy and did all sorts of atrocities. He was apprehended on 1st August 2013 after a series of attempts to arrest him for over 14 years by Nigerian security forces proved abortive. According to reports, he was very good at disguising his criminal activities that his wife and his family members never knew that he was a criminal. Godo was a gun lover, as he goes for his operation with bags often fully loaded with AK-47 rifles. His house in Lagos, Ondo and Ogun State is also flooded with rifles of different kinds. Number 6. Bado of Ikorodu. Bado of Ikorodu has been described as one of the most dangerous criminals in Nigerian history. He operates especially in Ikorodu Axis of Lagos State while molesting children and women as well as robbing people. Bado of Ikorodu terrorized Ikorodu for a long time while escaping attempts by the police to convict him, even after he was arrested multiple times. However, on one occasion when he got released by the police, the Ikorodu community became very angry and decided to put a stop to his terror. They hunted after Bado of Ikorodu, caught him and set him on fire. Number 7. Shinarambo. Those who had previously experienced the onslaught of Shinarambo would never forget him. He is just like other notorious criminals, and he was also an armed robber. According to various reports, he was capable of robbing an entire highway alongside his gangs. Meanwhile, while some reports have it that he died while in operation, others said he died as an ordinary man. He was well vested with charm and black magic for protection. He was known to be a demigod while he operated on busy highways until the day he met his waterloo. Number 8. Deriko Nwamama. Deriko Nwamama, whose real name is Okudele Ndigwe, was given the title the King of the Underworld. Residents of Onitsha, a commercial city in Anambra State, were the set of people who experienced his onslaught the most. According to multiple sources, Deriko had allegedly murdered over 100 people, which include about 25 police officers. He was known to be a merciless armed robber who robbed buses with gang members. Anambra State Police Command launched an operation to capture Deriko and his gang members, but all proved abortive. Anambra State Police Command launched an operation to capture Derico and his gang. While some of his gang members were caught, Derico Wamama himself was still on the run. However, he did not run for a long time, as the Bakassi Boys, a very popular vigilante service group set up by the Anambra State government to reduce crime in the southeast, finally caught hold of the deadly criminal in 2001. The Bakassi Boys paraded Derico Wamama round Onitsha and finally beheaded him in an open square. Number 9. Ishola Onyenusi. Dr. Ishola Onyenusi was the first known armed robber in the history of Nigeria. He took the nation by storm shortly after the civil war in Nigeria that ended in 1970 and committed several crimes and mayhem against humanity. And before he was executed in 1971 at the famous Barbie show in front of 30,000 watching Nigerians, no one believed that the doctor, as he was called, would be captured, as he was rumored to be invisible. When Ishola Onyenusi reigned at the height of his exploit, he declared, and I quote, "The bullet has no power over me." Ishola Onyenusi got into active robbery back in 1959, but he committed his first major robbery when he snatched a car along Habat Macaulay Road in Yaba, Lagos, and killing its owner in the process, just because his girlfriend was broke and needed money to buy her makeup. By the end of the Civil War, Ishola Onyenusi had turned into a cold-hearted armed robber who took delight in causing pain to his victims. The last robbery that ended his journey was in Ikeja, Lagos in March 1971. Dr. Ishola Onyenusi's execution was celebrated by relieved Nigerians who trooped out in masses to the Bar Beach in Lagos to witness the end of a man who has held the country to ransom. While being tied on the drum for execution, he kept smiling. He smiled till his death.
You know the best. You know the best. And thy will shall be done. Thy will has to be done. My spirit shall prevail on my enemies who have conspired to take away my life at this stage. I never knew it. Because I studied for my family and for my nation, but not knowing that I could not help my nation any means.
The above-named prisoner was on the 26th day of August 1971 found guilty and sentenced to death by trial court for the following offences: 1. Robbery, punishable under section.
Number 10. Lawrence Anini. For those who grew in the 80s, the name Lawrence Anini, aka The Law, can never be forgotten. He was one of Nigeria's most notorious armed robbers who reigned supreme in the old Bende State, now Edo and Delta. In 1983, Anini and his gang members successfully robbed 12 banks in one day and killed about 18 people in the process. Anini and his squad of robbers made it a point of duty to rob banks in broad daylight. Their level of confidence was so high that they went about throwing money at market women to gain popularity. Anini was arrested on 3rd December 1986 in Benin City He was confined to a wheelchair throughout his trial following the amputation of one of his legs, and was sentenced to death by Justice James Omo Agege of the Benin High Court, and was executed on March 29, 1987.
In fact, as he was trying to run, I was going to open fire. Because they already had the belief that he was mysterious, he could disappear. And so let us see how he would disappear. A series of bullets went down his legs, and then they took him away. And that was how Mondosumba and others were subsequently arrested.
And the one on the right hand side is Lawrence, and the one in the middle is Yamu, the DSP Yamu, and the one on the left hand side is Ofege, that is Mondosumba. And one over here, these people, they were notorious for their criminal activities. The criminal act of these people, these gangsters, this led by Lawrence Anini. In fact, at that time, you know what happened? Everyone slept with their two eyes opened for fear of being lynched by these criminals. Anini became like a myth. And there were rumors that he could appear to disappear. And so how would you tackle such criminal? And in those days, whenever people were talking about them, they were talking in low tones. And people were advised you don't shout too much. Policemen were scared wearing their uniforms. Why? So many of them who were police were killed by those people. They were murdered in cold blood. Until one day, Ibrahim Babangida was forced to ask Akagoshu, who was then the IG of police, where is Anini, at the Federal Executive Council meeting. And the fame of these criminals grew, the unpopularity of these people, of these criminals, grew further wide to Libya, where Muammar Gaddafi even requested for the presence of Lawrence Anini. It was that bad. But one day, they say every day for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. One day, the man called this man who was DIG of police.
No,
the other was deployed to Edo State. He understood the nitty-gritty of this land, and so by his effort, God using him, they were able to eventually capture him in the house of his girlfriend here in Benin. And when they did, in fact, as he was trying to run, I was going to open fire. Because they already had the belief that he was mysterious, he could disappear. And so let us see how he would disappear. A series of bullets went down his legs, and then they took him away. And that was how Mondosumba and others were subsequently arrested. They were arraigned before the magistrate court, who subsequently sentenced them to death, Papaya and squad. There was heavy downpour on that day, as they were tied to the stakes, drums behind, and the soldiers were forced. You can see the soldiers right there. And then the command came, action, and so many bullets were pumped into them. Suffice it to say that one man, the rest of them died immediately. Mondosumba called Ofege refused to die. They kept on pumping bullets into him until all the one on the left hand side, he refused to die. He was still breathing. He kept on shooting and shooting and shooting. Well, they decided, it's okay, what do we do? They took him, gave them mass burial at second cemetery here. That was where they were given mass burial. Yes, no, he didn't die completely. They just put him inside along with Anini and others. That was the end of terrorism in the old Edo and Delta State.